So how do you go from doing YouTube as a hobby to now it's your part-time job, and from a part-time job to now you're making a full-time living off of YouTube? Hey, my name's Anthony, and today I want to share with you some tips when it comes to growing on YouTube, also potentially making this your full-time job. Now, I've been blessed with the opportunity to do YouTube full-time for nearly a decade now. I've been creating content for as long as I can think of, even before YouTube AdSense came out. Before that was even a thing, I've always loved doing YouTube, and it was always been my dream job to do. So I want to share with you because I've gone through every single phase you can think of almost on YouTube, and that goes from doing YouTube while I was still going to school and no one knew around me that I was even doing it, and I managed to grow that channel that I had a long time ago up to 50,000 subscribers. So here I am in class with 50,000 subscribers. No one knows it's me, and you can't earn a single penny off of YouTube. So I've gone from that. I've gone from working 2 jobs and still doing YouTube part-time to being in MCNs and not making any revenue, thinking I was making a lot. And again, so many pitfalls and steps up into the process. So I'm going to share with you as well how you can go from a hobby to part-time. So let's talk about this part first, and then we're going to be talking about going from part-time to full-time, and I'm going to share with you some tips on how it can sort of help you make that decision if that is something that you are looking into making possibly one day, or maybe you're actually at that moment now and it's like this is just a little bit of a nudge that you may need. So when it comes from doing YouTube as a hobby to part-time, so it starts out as a hobby, which is fantastic. If you're doing YouTube videos for fun, it's amazing. And some of the best channels out there all started from having just fun. And I think those are the channels that actually last, although they are earning, let's say, a lot of revenue to make full-time income. But the passion is something that is going to keep you going through the times that get very tough. Because let me tell you, if you're not passionate about it, you're not gonna be doing it very long. Although they may say, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, again, you're not gonna be doing it that long. If you're doing it just for money, you won't last that long. You may get some money, but it won't last, and people will also see it. And if you're doing it and that you genuinely love it and you have built an audience for it, that is the ultimate recipe for success, because not only do you love what you do, people love what you do, and YouTube loves what you do, and they will pay you for it. So in the hobby phase, that's really just working out what type of content you like and what type of content does your audience like. And again, if you're just doing it as a hobby, you're not taking it that serious, and you're just really uploading for yourself. But if you want to make that transition from having it as a hobby to part-time, that's when you really start focusing on, okay, I'm not necessarily making content just for myself, I'm making content for my viewers. And especially if you get into the partnership program and if you are looking to grow. Now, if you're creating content for yourself, that's also fine. But when you see massive growth, that is when you're creating content that your viewers love and resonate with. Now, I'm not saying don't do anything that you love just because your viewers want to, but it's always taken into account, okay, is this video going to perform well for my audience? And all of this is a work in progress still, but that is really when you make that transition from just doing it as a hobby for yourself to really now you're creating content maybe consistently for an audience who is looking forward to your content. So what is considered doing YouTube part-time? I consider doing YouTube part-time, and what I can say from experience is exactly just that. Let's say you have a full-time job, let's say you're a full-time student and you're doing YouTube part-time, but that money that let's say that you make off of YouTube isn't enough money to, let's say, cover your lifestyle. So you still have to actually work and you still have to do YouTube. So when I started earning money on YouTube, let's say every month I would earn, let's say $100 or $200, which I was super grateful for because, hey, that's like my light bill, or hey, that's my groceries or so for the month, especially when I was living on my own in my early 20s. I mean, that was amazing. Now you'll have that feeling inside and you'll know, because it will also scare you a lot when you're trying to take that leap to go full-time, because it can be a scary thing. Now, of course, you have 2 different ways you can go. You can always work full-time, for an example, or be a full-time student and keep doing YouTube part-time. And then whenever you're done with that, you can also pursue YouTube full-time if you like, especially if you're living with your parents. But when it comes to having that stability, especially financial stability when it comes to creating content, this is where that part-time, full-time is a huge difference when it comes to income. Of course, it all depends on your lifestyle, your cost of living, but part-time, again, I consider part-time as it's just income that sort of helps out your lifestyle, but it's not income that actually covers your complete lifestyle. Now, of course, if you are making full-time income off YouTube doing part-time, that is amazing. But as far as it being part-time, that's what I mean. It's just enough money that it kind of keeps you part-time. You know you're earning something on it, but you're not yet ready for that leap, and you know you're not ready for that leap. Now, how do you know when you're ready to go full-time? So there's a lot of ways you can think about this. I am big on faith, and you almost have to just weigh your options. This is a very risky phase for some people. Some people actually just don't move and they stay there. And there's also a lot of channels out there that could be going to the next level, but they're afraid to take this leap. And this leap can be very scary because you're just leaping out there on faith. So you're hoping that, you know, something happens, but you don't really know if it will. So it's just taking that risk. But I can say from personal experience, the risk has worked out for me. I've seen it worked out for others. And I'm not saying that you should take the risk yourself, but I'll explain why that risk also works out a lot. Because let's think about this. If you're creating YouTube videos part-time, that means you're not putting full-time time into it. And let's say you are getting massive results just from doing it part-time. Now, let's say if you have that feeling, which you will have that feeling, if I do this full-time, there's no way possible I would be getting the same part-time results. So if you were, let's say, spending 2 hours in your garden every other day, your garden may look nice. Now, if I were to say, okay, can you spend 6 hours in your garden every other day? Would your garden look better? The answer would most likely be yes. Of course, if you have an efficient 2 hours, that's awesome, but you get what I'm saying. So that's where it came to my situation. It was, okay, I'm doing great part-time, and I took a special type of leap as well, moving to a whole completely different country, but really just risking it and going full-time on it and having that feeling and faith that, okay, I know if I can do this full time, and if I was able to put my 100% focus, my ideas into this, into my craft, I can totally make a full-time income from it. And you'll often find in life there's times where the more time and more focus that you put into something, the better it gets. And as they say, where your focus goes, the energy flows. And I know that leap from part-time to full-time, even from hobby to full-time, maybe you don't even get that part-time, can be quite scary. And there's even stories, of course, where someone's just doing it as a hobby. Next thing you know, they blow up and now they're earning, you know, multiple six figures in just a matter of time, and maybe they're very, very young. So it can kind of like cloud your judgment on things, and you're just like, okay, no, I'm going all in. But it's also having, again, that risk assessment, because you can have a massive great month, but then the month after that may not be so good. And that is the story of entrepreneurship. It's like you can have, you know, amazing times, amazing lows, amazing times, amazing lows. And it's not consistent, but that is the beauty of it as well, because you are in control in the work you put in, creating those opportunities for you by putting the work in, because opportunities just don't come to you. You had to have done something in order to get these opportunities. And that transition of just, again, putting more time into it could really take you to the next level. So hobby, you're not really earning much. Part-time, you're earning a little bit. Let's say you just got in, you're not earning enough, but it's enough to help out with other bills. And full-time is like, this is what you do. You're able to turn this into a business. And most importantly, it is to treat it like a business when you become full-time, because you can fall into the trap of doing YouTube full-time. It is your job, but you're treating it still like a hobby when you've taken that leap to do it full-time, which that is not the correct mindset to have. Now, of course, you can have fun, but there's a lot more responsibilities, especially depending on your situation. When you go full-time, you have to almost become that student, and you're still learning, you're adapting, you're growing, because YouTube is ever-changing, and in order to grow, you need to adapt. But let me know where you are on your journey. Have you actually created a YouTube channel? Are you doing YouTube as a hobby? Are you doing it part-time? Are you doing it full-time? I would love to know down below in the comments. But I wish you all the best rest of your day. Have a great one.